I'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. The one and only Baltimore City Councilman Carl Stokes. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing, my brother?
Good, good. Saw you in the newspaper.
Yeah, well, Donnie, we decided, let me just tell you a quick story. I grew up in public housing, Latrobe Project, so a bunch of us grew up in public housing, and we were on welfare, they said. We were subsidized. Well, you know what's happening today? All of the rich people are living in public housing. They don't call it welfare, they call it subsidies, but they live at the harbor, and all of that property is subsidized by the public, by the taxpayer.
You're not supposed to say that, Councilman.
Well, they're living in public housing, and they're proud of it. Just like I was proud to live in Latrobe. I was proud of it too. But it's backwards. It's backwards. And so people come to us every day, and they say, I'm going to build buildings for luxury apartments for people, condos. I'm going to build a building for a top 5 corporate giant in America, corporate America. And we need money to build all of this property. And I say, how do you need money? How do you need money when you already have a $120 million lease in your hand for the property? And they said, just trust us, we need the taxpayer money. And I say, well, show me the financial records that say you need that money. They say, our records are proprietary. I say, if you're doing it privately, it's proprietary. If you're doing it with the public money, it's public records. And they say, it's not. And I say, okay. And then they say, hold the hearing. And I say, no. Give me the records. I'll hold the hearing. No records, no hearing. And that's sort of our stalemate. It's not sort of, it is our stalemate. Now, of course, I'm getting pressure from inside City Hall to hold the hearing with no records, with no finances, with no analysis. I'm asked.
How can you hold an effective meeting if you don't know the facts?
Well,
is that a good question?
It's a great question. I think that's the question I asked. And they said, it's not that complicated, Stokes. It's pretty simple, actually. We need $107 million, and you need to hold a hearing because the council is ready to vote for it. And the mayor supports it, and this person supports it, and I said, oh, okay.
$107 million.
Right. Now, that's over and above the $52 million they stole from the black people living in Perkins
Hall. I was just thinking about the $600,000 that was necessary to keep the Baltimore City Recreation Centers going.
Forget that. I just came from Oliver in East Baltimore, where they have a pool that's been closed for 3 years because they said that they can't fix the pipes. They don't have any money to fix the pipes in a pool for children in East Baltimore. It's not the only place, obviously, that they're doing that, but now they're saying they need $107 million to put in new pipes.
$107 million?
$107 million. And again, that's over and above $52 million.
So let me ask you, the way the Sun paper painted the story, it kind of painted you as a rebel rouser or the bad guy or not going along to get along. I didn't understand what their intent was.
Right. The story said Councilman Stokes holds up Exelon project. I think they should have said Harbor Point holds up, as in robbery, the citizens of Baltimore. I'm not the guy with the mask on. They're the guys robbing us in broad daylight. And it's not Exelon, it is Harbor Point. It's Michael Beatty. It's his development that's holding up the city, cops and robbers. But there seem to be no cops, only robbers in this scenario. And so I thought the Sun paper did a fair story in saying that as chair of the committee, I was merely asking for the financial analysis that would allow the committee and the council.
You simply asked for the facts?
That's all.
And you're being demonized?
Yes, I'm the bad guy because I asked to see the financial records.
And this was the same city that couldn't find $600,000 for some swimming pools.
Right. No swimming pools, rec centers closing, hours cut back, very little after school.
Are African Americans supposed to get served like everyone else in this city?
In some cases, those most in need should be served more, whether they're African American or not. But certainly in our city, it seems that the greedy get paid better than the needy.
So we reward poor performance, bad behavior?
Yes, and wealth. We reward wealth, which I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not fighting against development. I'm not fighting against the wealthy living in great luxury places. I just don't think that the taxpayer money should go toward that. Rather, the taxpayer money should go through stronger schools and recreation programs and cultural events inside of neighborhoods and the rebuilding of neighborhoods and jobs for our children's parents.
Well, here in West Baltimore, and thank you for joining us here, we haven't seen any development over here since 1999. I mean, nothing in this community. Sandtown, it all stopped 99, 2000, nothing.
Right. And I know they got started, and frankly, Sandtown's a nice housing project, but it never was, in my mind, a community project. In other words, the commercial revitalization, making sure there are permanent jobs, not just a housing program. And I'm not sure who all built the houses. I'm not sure if it built up African-American wealth at all, or African-American companies.
That's a great point, and that's something that, you know, Be More News is all about. Blacks in business. We're 65% of the city, 30% of the state, 40%, 50% of the county, Baltimore County. Sure. Yes, we should get similar resources.
Absolutely. But I think we're being told, you know, for example, when a few of us say, you know, we want more for the black community, we're told to say the minority community. But we're not talking about the minority community.
We're the majority.
If we were talking about the
Baltimore.
minority community, we would saying, well, we should give more to white folks. If we were talking about the minority community, we're not talking about the minority community. We're talking about African Americans in the city of Baltimore, and that's not racist. It's not bigoted.
It's a fact.
It's a fact, and it's being supportive of those who have been segregated against, who have been bigoted against. And so we're just saying, let's support folk who have been aggrieved intentionally and affirmatively. Let's support those who have been aggrieved. And as you know, the city for years have just said no to African American wealth building, African American business persons, and then they complain they can't find African Americans to do this job or that job after denying them the ability to grow that wealth, to grow their companies.
Well, we commend you for clarifying that story, because when I first read it, I didn't know what to think.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, Donnie, I think you know that I'm not a saint, I'm not a hero, but I tried my best to be thorough.
You have a reputation for fighting for the children of Baltimore City, sir.
Thank you, and that's what I need to do. You know, I need to do that, we need to do that, and I'm going to stand up.
Matter of fact, in East Baltimore, they say you go hard in the paint for the children.
Thank you, I heard that. I appreciate that. Yes, the children are a great priority. I appreciate that. And their mommies and daddies without jobs are a priority too. And their mommies and daddies who give to this city pound for pound more than most other people. You know what I'm saying? You know, people without jobs pay taxes in this city too. They pay taxes. People who do have jobs or limited income, they pay a greater percentage of their income to the taxes than the wealthy do. They pay a greater percentage than those who are wealthy in our city do. And yet, they pay twice as much and seem to get half as much back.
Councilman, the most disturbing and troubling part about this is that we have a black mayor. And it just leaves me wondering, well, do black officials, elected officials, look out for black people anymore? But you're here, and we're glad that you do.
Thanks, I appreciate
we really
that.
appreciate
Certainly,
that. I mean, that's what you would think, you know, black president, black people get looked out for. Black governor, black people get looked out for. Black mayor, black people get looked out for. I mean, that's how it would be if it were Jewish president, Jewish governor, Jewish mayor.
It's not that it hasn't happened. I mean, already, it seemed like already a generation of very strong elected officials have come and gone, whether it's Marion Barry or the former mayor of Atlanta, Maynard Jackson, or Coleman Young in Detroit. We can name 3 or 4 others.
Well, look,
and it seemed like they came and they went, and nobody behind them understood what we were supposed to do next.
You know, that's a whole nother story, but on that note, you know, as you were talking, Marion Bascom, Vernon Dobson,
Amen.
Homer Favor,
Sure.
icons.
Right, icons that are
who were political.
Forward. Yeah, who were political. Obviously, they thought that the politics would help the social, and they were right. Certainly, that the politics can very much help the social.
Look at Northwest Baltimore County, my goodness.
Well,
That's a whole another story there.
Yeah, it's another show.
Well, we thank you for being supportive of black empowerment.
Thank you. I
in a
appreciate
majority
you.
black city.
And thank you for Be More News, which gives us the story before the story. Amen.
But we're also going to provide that balance.
Yes.
I didn't see balance in that front page story yesterday. You were made out to look like the bad guy.
No.
Thanks for being the bad guy, because that means you're looking out for our community.
That's my job. I tell people, if they start writing that I'm the good guy, I probably sold you out. Okay? So
at least you're honest.
Leave me as the bad guy. Okay? I'm fine to take that role, be the bad guy, because until they take care of our children and our children's parents, I'm just going to play the bad guy and expose them. And when I demand on behalf of the people, this is not Carl Stokes, big head. This is Carl Stokes, representative of, elected by. And I say, let's see the facts. And they say, no facts. I say, no vote. That's pretty simple.
The one and only
Thank you,
Baltimore City
brother.
Councilman Carl Stokes. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. And I mean it. Thank you for standing up for our people.
Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate all that you guys do in the black media. We really appreciate you.
Yes, sir.